Welcome to the second video on Pandas library. So in the first video, we have talked about the basic documentation. So what the getting started documentation looks like, installing Conda, then what kind of data Pandas handle, so how data frame looks like, how we can read from a CSV file, and subsetting of data frame, creating some basic plots. So these are the things which we did so far. Now you would see a little bit details into this data exploration part. So we would use the subsetting techniques and creating plots in a detailed manner. Would import the library pandas as pd. So here you can choose any name, but this is just the industry standard. I have to select the right Python environment here. And guys, you can also use other editor like PyCharm or anything else like Google Colab, but I prefer Visual Studio Code. So here, let's open the first data frame, which we did in our lesson 1 or first video. So here, basically we opened the file which contains the information for Titanic dataset. So in case you are not aware of the first, please have a look at the first video first, guys. And here, if I load into the data frame, then it looks like this, where we have the passenger ID, survived or not, passenger class name, sex, age, until they embarked. So if you want to know these details of all these parameters, you can go into the Kaggle. So here you can find. Alright, so here you can see the variable survival means whether this person survived or not. Passenger class is ticket class, sex, age. SP means number of siblings or spouses who aborted the Titanic. PARC means number of parents or children on the ship. Ticket number, fare, cabin, and embarked means the port of embarkation. So C is for Cherbourg, Q for Queenstown, and S for Southampton. So these are the information which you can check and also just get an overview of the data set. Alright, so here let's formulate some problems where we want to see what happens. So for example, if you want to know that which age group has the most survival, then how can I tackle this question? So let me write down the question first. So as you know from the previous video that we talked about the subsetting, so that is what you can sense already. In that there is a common technique used by data science professionals where we do histograms. So what does it mean? For example, I would first divide my data frame into two parts. One is survived and one is non-survived. So to do so, I would again use this df.log function, where I would put this condition survived equal to 0. So this would show me all the 549 records where people actually did not survive. And if I want to know the age, then I would just put a comma. So the left part, as you know, this is the condition, and the right part are the columns which you want to select. So here we want to select age. So these are ages of all the people which basically who did not survive. Now you can see that there is a NaN, so that means these are the missing values. What are missing values and how to check it? Let's see that first. So missing values means that we have no information on that. So for example, if I do this df.info, which shows like how many non-null count we have. So if the data frame shape is 891 by 12, so here we can see that 891 not null is fine, all of these are fines, but in case of age we have 740 not null. That means that rest of them are basically null values. So there are techniques which we can use to get rid of the null values. So for example, in this case it is important because we are just considering the age. So we can use this df dot drop na and drop na. So you can say that subset. So subset means based on which column you want to drop na. So drop null only those records where age is null, then I would just say subset equals to age. Alright, so here you can see it matches 714, so that is exactly the same number of non-null for ages. So I hope this is clear. So I have to assign it back to the df, or I can also use the in place operator, but yeah, so important. So here we can see that all the ages would be basically not na. And if I do a histogram, so this is called a histogram. So it would show me the distribution of ages where the people did not survive. Now I would try to do the same thing with survived one, so that we can see the distribution who survived, and we can see like that. But it's very hard to compare, as you can see that the x-axis or y-axis and x-axis both are quite dissimilar. So it's very difficult to side by side compare whether which age group basically survived. So we have to make it in the same format, in that sense that we need to put the same x-axis level and y-axis level. So let's try to do that. So first of all, I will try to use matplotlib dot pyplot. Very much basic functionality provider. So here we will discuss about that later, like what are the details, but for now we would just use it to finalize our exploration, to create two subplots where we can compare side by side. And then on the first subplot I just put the people who survived, and the second subplot we just put people who did not survive. And if we try to compare, again you can see there is a problem that these ranges are not equal, and that's the reason we have to do another thing, which is called set ylim. And so let's do that 0 to 100, and we would also do the same thing with x1. So these are axes are just a subplot, and here we can do ylim. Let's do it 120, so that's okay. All right, and now also we would change the xlim so that it's in the same format. So let's make it 0, 100, and also the next one 0, 100. All right, so here this is the perfect combination. So the y range, x range are equal, and we can see that the people, oh, maybe we can also add some legend. So label survive, and here we can label not. So at the first glance you can see that lots of people basically died, or majority of the people died, which we also see in our previous video where we saw the pie chart comparison. And here it also shows that majority of the people who are in the age group of 20 and 40, they died. So there is a huge peak over here, and here there is a certain peak on the age group between maybe 0 to 10. So in the first peak, so you can see that there are lots of children who survived than who did not survive. So this is one kind of analytics we can do. So here I don't want to go further, so this would be something which you can formulate your question like we did, and please put on the comment box that what's your question. Thanks for watching and have a nice day, guys. Bye bye.